What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video we're taking a look at how you should be clearing out your vault. We'll be covering some key steps and providing some hints and tips on the things you should keep and things that you can get rid of ahead of Beyond Light. So if you're not too sure what you need to hold on to and what you can let go, then be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you're new here and watch a lot of my content, as 77% of you do, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know about Beyond Light and Destiny 2 moving forward. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, before we jump into the meat of today's content, I want to first invite you all to the Jarv Community Hub. We have a expanding and fast-growing Discord community. If you want to be part of it, it's available to absolutely everyone. Everyone's welcome, and you'll find the link to this down in the video description below. So if you want to get things done before the end of this season and fire team up and get things done efficiently as part of Season 12, then be sure to jump in. And as I said, you'll find the link down in the description below. So over the last few weeks, we've made many videos covering the weapons that you should be seeking out to get yourself ready for Season 12, which launches on November 10th. But what we haven't really covered is what do we do with the gear that we already have. If you're like myself, your vault will be full of weapons and armor that you've been collecting throughout Destiny 2's life cycle. Some of it you may use and rotate in and out, and some of it may be collecting a hell of a lot of dust. Now the aim of this video today is to break down the tools that you should be using to help sort out your vault, the things you should be keeping, the roles that you should be keeping, and also any armor that you should keep hold of ahead of the expansions. Everything else though, you could probably dismantle and keep the materials as upgrade materials for the next season. Now, due to the way Destiny 2 is built and the APIs that it provides, there are some amazing third-party applications that we can use to manage our inventory. Some of them may be familiar to you and some of them may be brand new, but the key one and the only one that we're going to be talking about today, which is absolutely critical for helping you manage your inventory effectively, is Destiny Item Manager. Now, if you don't have this, you can access it on desktop via your mobile browser too. I'll leave the link to this down in the video description below. It's the one-stop shop for everything you need to do in order to manage your inventory on the fly, but also manage any quests, bounties, and more importantly, your vault, which is what we're covering today. And once you've logged into Destiny Item Manager with your Bungie account, as you can see, it will load up your vault and your inventory across any characters that you have. Now, the command that we've entered at the top here is :dupe. And the idea here is we're looking for any duplicate weapons or armor that we have that we can compare against each other and to see which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to shard. Now, as you can see here, we've clicked on the Compare tab when selecting the old-fashioned, and this has allowed us to compare any old-fashions that we have on any character or in our vault. We can see the stats on the weapon, and we can also see the roles that we have on each and every one. The great thing about this is linked to a wish list master list, and what this means is it also identifies the potential god roles on these weapons. So if you see thumbs up against perks and on weapons, then the chances are you have a very good role in your hands, and you maybe want to take a closer look at this weapon before you consider dismantling it. Now, as you can see here, we've repeated the same process with my dire promises. I actually have 4. I didn't even know I had that many, but we can see the roles on them, and again make a decision on which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to shard. And more importantly, you can easily identify which ones are master worked, and they can provide you more materials if you do consider dismantling them. So that covers off how you identify your duplicates, whether that be on characters or hiding away deep in the depths of your vault. And that should help bring your vault number down slightly, as you'll be holding on to the roles that are most desirable regardless of the season that they're from. And the important thing to remember is that sunsetting does kick in with Season 12, and that means anything pretty much after Season of Arrivals will have a limit on the amount of power that it can gain. With that being said, any light level enabled activity, things like Gambit, Trials, Iron Banner, and any light level enabled PvE activities will impact the weapons that you can use, and therefore you have some very important decisions to make about whether you do keep them at all or whether you're going to keep them and have a bit of fun with them in the non-power enabled activities, things like Control and the other casual Crucible modes. Now, if we jump back into Destiny Item Manager, another command we can use is sunset after :arrivals. What this will show us is any weapons that are going to be sunset as soon as we end the current season. And as we can see, we have our mountaintop just here, but we can also identify other key weapons that are going to be very good next season, things like 140 hand cannons like the Ostringer here, but will be capped in their power so therefore they're not going to be very useful in those light level enabled activities, but this weapon still will be a fun one to use even inside casual Crucible. Now as you can see, this does apply to weapons and armor. We've identified 39 individual items that are going to sunset in my vault alone that I could potentially dismantle, so I'm going to be working through these. I've removed the dupes already and I want to see which ones I want to keep just for a bit of fun inside Crucible and which ones I can get rid of and use the materials when I approach Beyond Light on November 10th. So far so good. We've removed the duplicates from our vault and our characters, and we've also potentially removed any weapons that are going to sunset at the end of the current season and may not pose too much use to us when we land in Europa. However, we still have a little bit of work to do before our vault is ready to go for Season 12, and this is in particularly looking at raid items. Now, since the announcement of the Destiny Content Vault, many raids have been featured raids and have allowed us to farm them over and over again, whether that be for Anarchy or Taraba, but also armor. Now, whilst the raid armor is not sunsetting at the end of the current season and has a max power cap of 1360, what is not happening when we land in Season 12 is providing the additional mod slot which is being added to the new raid armor, but also retrospectively added to the Garden of Salvation and Last Wish armor. So any raid armor that you already have will not be getting this universal combat mod socket which is being added as part of Beyond Light. Now, to identify your raid items, if we jump back into Destiny Item Manager and do source:_raid, this will highlight all our raid items, weapons and armor. Naturally, the weapons you can keep hold of. You've probably gone through those roles already and you've probably removed the dupes if you've followed the video so far. However, we can move down to the armor now and we can have a little look at the ones that we have. Naturally, these might be very good roles, but they're not going to provide us with that additional mod socket which is being added in Season 12. So there is potential to dismantle some of these items, especially if you have a lot of armor. However, if you want to keep hold of one or two sets, make sure you've got some well-rolled raid armor ahead of Beyond Light, then that's not a bad decision either. Either way, this is how you identify your raid items, but more importantly, be able to compare them again with their stats and their perks to see which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to shard. Now, the last thing to mention, as you guys may remember, we had some double loot from the Nightfall Ordeal merely a few weeks ago. And if you were like myself, you maybe had a few extra exotics that you were quickly dumping in the vault with the intention of looking over them before next season. Now is your opportunity to do that. Use Destiny Item Manager again to use the dupe command to identify these and compare the stats on these armor pieces and keep the one roll which is an absolute god roll and the high stats with a good stat distribution. There's no point having 3 pairs of Ursa Furiosas like I had, so therefore I picked the best one and dismantled the rest. So there we have it, guys. That is how you can clear out your vault, free up some room ahead of next season, but also generate some more materials for you to use and carry into Beyond Light. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you're new here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny content, and we'll be making loads of content, especially when Beyond Light launches, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.